My dear children, very good afternoon. This is L.K. Tripathi, SST teacher from LPM Public School, Gola Bazar, Gorakhpur. Dear students, we are going to discuss about civics chapter 4, that is working of institution. This is very important chapter for you. Therefore, must listen carefully and go accordingly. First of all, let us try to understand about the concept of the chapter. What is this? What is working of institutions? So clearly we can say there is separation of the power of the government of country that is divided into three parts. And the main organs of the government are legislature, executive and judiciary. This is known as the main institution of the government in which the power is separated of the government. So differently we shall come to know about the different institutions of the government. This video will help you a lot to understand the things. So let's start it. Democracy is not just about people electing their rulers. In a democracy, the rulers have to follow some rules and procedures. They have to work with and within institution. This is very clear. This is not only, means democracy is not only just to elect the rulers, and there is some essential duties of the rulers for the country to follow the procedures of the country. They have to work within institution and with institution. This chapter is about the working of such institutions in a democracy. We try to understand this by looking at the manner in which major decisions are taken and implemented in our country. We also look at how disputes regarding these decisions are resolved. In this process, we come across three institutions that play a key role in major decisions: legislature, executive and judiciary. Three main organs of the government which take major decisions based on any matter related to the country. How do they work? You have already read something about these institutions in earlier classes. Here we shall quickly summarize those and move on to asking larger questions. In the case of each institution, we ask, what does this institution do? How is this institution connected to other institutions? What makes it functioning more or less democratic? The basic objective here is to understand how all these institutions together carry on the work of government. Sometimes we compare these with similar institutions in other democracies. In this chapter, we take our examples from the working of the national level government called central government, union government or just government of India. In this chapter basically we shall discuss about the central government, union government or government of India. These all name correlates the same. While reading this chapter, you can think of and discuss examples from the working of the government in your state. So first of all, let us go to start this chapter properly, listen carefully and seriously. Point number 4.1, how is a major policy decision taken? मेजर पॉलिसी डिसीजंस कैसे लिए जाते हैं? तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी हैव टू गो थ्रू दिस. A government order. On August 13, 1990, the Government of India issued an order. It was called an office memorandum. Like all government orders, it had a number and known by that OM number this. Yes, it. Dated 13/8/1990. The Joint Secretary and officer in the Department of Personnel and Training in the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. Signed the order. It was quite short, barely on one page. It looked like any ordinary circular or notice that you may have seen in school. The government issues hundreds of orders every day on different matters, but this one was very important and became a source of controversy for several years. Let us see how the decision was taken and what happened later. See this memorandum issued by the Government of India, GI Department of per TRG OM number this and this SC dated 13/8/1990. Subject related to this order 27% reservation for socially and educationally backward classes in civil post services. This was issued by the Personnel and Training Department of India in a multiple undulating society like ours. Early achievement of the objective of social justice as enshrined in the Constitution is a must. The second backward class commission called the Mandal Commission was established by the then government with this purpose in view, which submitted its report to the Government of India on 31st December 1980. Number next, government have carefully considered the report and the recommendations of the commission in the present context regarding the benefit to be extended to the socially and educationally backward classes as opened by the commission and are of the clear view that at the outset certain weightage has to be provided to such classes in the services of the union and the public undertakings. Accordingly, orders are issued as followed. First, 27% of the vacancies in civil posts and services under the Government of India shall be reserved for SCBC. Second, the aforesaid reservations shall apply to vacancies to be filled by direct. This was an order issued by the Government of India. 27% reservations should be provided to the SCBC, socially and educationally backward classes. A reservation subject related to the reservation for other backward classes in civil posts and services under the Government of India regarding. You can read this easily. This was a circular issued by the Government of India in favor of SCBC and OBCs. This order announced a major policy decision. It said that 27% of the vacancies in civil posts and services under the Government of India are reserved for the socially and educationally backward classes. SCBC is another name for all those people who belong to castes that are considered backward by the government. The benefit of job reservation was till then available only to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Now a new third category called SCBC was introduced. Only persons who belong to backward classes were eligible for this quota of 27% jobs. Others should not compete for these jobs. The decision makers who decided to issue this memorandum, clearly such a big decision could not have been taken by the person who signed that document. The officer was merely implementing the instructions given by the Minister of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions, of which the department was a part. We can guess that such a major decision would have involved other major functionaries in our country. You have already read in the previous class about some of them. Let's go over some of the main points that you covered them. President is the head of the state and is the highest formal authority in the country. Prime Minister is the head of the government and actually exercises all governmental powers. He takes most of the decisions in the cabinet meetings. Parliament consists of the President and two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The Prime Minister must have the support of a majority of Lok Sabha members. So, were all these people involved in this decision regarding the office memorandum? Let us find out. So, can we think that all these major peoples are involved in the decision making? So, we have to find out ahead. This office memorandum was the culmination of a long chain of events. The government of India had appointed the Second Backward Classes Commission in 1979. It was headed by B.P. Mandal. Hence, it was popularly called the Mandal Commission. It was asked to determine the criteria to identify the socially and economically backward classes in India and recommend steps to be taken for their advancement. The Commission gave its report in 1980 and made many recommendations. One of these was that 27% of government jobs be reserved for the socially and educationally backward classes. The report and recommendations were discussed in the Parliament. For several years, many parliamentarians and parties kept demanding the implementation of the Commission's recommendations. Then came the Lok Sabha election of 1989. In its election manifesto, the Janata Dal promised that if voted to power, it would implement the Mandal Commission report. The Janata Dal did form the government after this election. Its leader, Mr. V.P. Singh, became the Prime Minister. Several developments took place after that. The President of India, in his address to the Parliament, announced the intention of the government to implement the recommendations of Mandal Commission. On 6 August 1990, the Union Cabinet took a formal decision to implement the recommendations. Next day, Prime Minister V.P. Singh informed the Parliament about this decision through a statement in both the House of Parliament. The decision of the Cabinet was sent to the Department of Personnel and Training. The senior officers of the department drafted an order in line with the cabinet decision and took the minister's approval. An officer signed the order on behalf of the union government. This was how OM number this was born on 13 August 1990. For the next few months, this was the most hotly debated issues in the country. Newspapers and magazines were full of different views and opinion on this issue. It led to widespread protests and counter protests, some of which were violent. People reacted strongly because this decision affected thousands of job opportunities. Some felt that existence of inequalities among people of different castes in India necessitated job reservations. They felt this should give a fair opportunity to those communities who so far had not adequately been represented in government employment. Others felt that this was unfair as it would deny equality of opportunity to those who did not belong to backward communities. They would be denied jobs even though they could be more qualified. Some felt that this would perpetuate caste feelings among people and hamper national unity. In this chapter, we will not discuss whether the decision was good or bad not. We only take this example to understand how major decisions are taken and implemented in the country. Who resolved this dispute? You know that the Supreme Court and the High Courts in India settle disputes arising out of governmental decisions. Some persons and associations opposed to this order filed a number of cases in the courts of India. Once all these castes together, this caste was known as the Indira Sahni. This case was known as the Indira Sahni and others versus Union of India case. So, up to here we have discussed about this chapter. We shall discuss the next in the next discussion. 2 lines more to be added here. That is important for you. Point number 4.2, Parliament. What is Parliament and how much important this is for country? This will be discussed in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.